Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy, Bengaluru. This is topic of the day discussion session. In this session, we will be discussing a very important and controversial topic, that is, should governors head state universities? Okay, we will see arguments in favor, arguments in against, as well as arguments of the states and global practices. So, this article or this video debates the governor's role as chancellor of state universities, highlighting the political controversies surrounding it and explores potential reform models for better governance. Okay, why it is in news and why this issue has been covered is because of recent University Grants Commission guidelines. Okay, recently UGC has issued guidelines over the 2018 UGC Act. Okay, it has tried to modify, wherein these guidelines deal with appointment of vice chancellors, etc. etc. One such provision is related to the search committee for the appointment of vice chancellors. Okay, you know, universities, for the universities, the chancellor is the governor and the vice chancellor is appointed. Generally, in order to appoint a vice chancellor, there is a committee or search committee for vice chancellor, which initially included governor or who is the chancellor plus university apex body. Okay, there will be an apex body of the university. These two used to indulge in the search committee. Okay, they would then search for a vice chancellor, and then that will be included as a vice chancellor, he or she. Okay, now under the new guideline, they have included a University Grants Commission nominee even for the state universities. Okay, previously this was the method for appointing vice chancellor for the central universities, and for the state universities, states had their own state laws. Okay, now there is an inclusion of University Grants Commission nominee. Okay, have made it mandatory not just for the central universities but also for the state universities. Okay, so they say that it is necessary because it is going to increase the transparency, it is going to provide a broader reach, it is going to have diverse opinions. Okay, however, states are vehemently opposing this one. Okay, they are opposing because states have their own laws to appoint the vice chancellor for the state universities. Okay, now this aspect or this guideline is against the federalism, this goes against the state laws. Okay, since education is a concurrent subject, states have all the rights to make laws for the state universities or the universities which are established by the state government. Okay, so states have autonomy in that aspect, but now this guideline is overruling this one or overriding the state's power in this regard. Okay, so this is against Article 254 Clause 1 of Central State Relations. What does Article 254 Clause 1 deals about? It deals about repugnancy with respect to central and state laws. Generally, the article states that whenever there is a law in concurrent subjects, whenever there is a law in concurrent subject from both central and state legislatures, the central law will be prevailing over the state laws. Okay, but there is an exception. Only that law which is plenary in nature, in the sense the law has to be made by the parliament itself, only then it can overcome or it can overrule state laws. Okay, in this guideline, though the main law is from the central government or the main law is from the parliament, but this particular guideline is a delegated law or the delegated rule by the University Grants Commission. Okay, so if this is provided the status of parliamentary law, it goes against Article 254. Okay, this is one aspect. Now we will see about governors. I have told this because it is in news, you have to know about this one. Suppose you are going to write prelims, mains, or even if for attending interview, this becomes very important for you. Next, about governor acting as the chancellor of universities. Okay, why it was necessitated? Actually, it has a root in colonial history. Okay, the colonial roots, that the role of chancellor originated in the British colonial era to limit political interference in the universities. Okay, in the national movements, universities were seen as the hub of nationalism. Okay, university was seen as the eye opener against the British rule. As a result, the British government always wanted to regulate the universities. That as a reason, they appointed many committees such as Hartog Committee, such as Butler Committee, Harcourt Butler Committees, etc. etc. Those committees always propagated or recommended for the increased intervention of the government in order to limit the political interference in the universities. Okay, so among one recommendation from these committees was the appointment of chancellor. Okay, what is the role of chancellor? Chancellor was there just to limit the political interference. Okay, then why it was made necessary in the post independence framework? Okay, in the post independent, state laws designated governor as the chancellor, granting them powers to oversee university administration and convocation ceremonies. Okay, so initially the states drafted their own laws, making governor as the chancellor, hoping that he would act as a nominal head, hoping that his role would be very limited only to see the administration of university and the convocation ceremonies. But over the years, as the political sphere or as the political nature of the central and state relations went on changing, federalism went on changing with respect to political arena in India, the role of governor with respect to university also changed. Instead of governor acting as a nominal head, he started acting as a agent of central government. Okay, that was seen in this case also. Then over the years, there have been challenges evolving. One is politicization of the role, as I explained. That is post 1957. Governors became instruments of the ruling central government, creating friction with the state governments, especially in opposition led states. Okay, this was the age of end of simultaneous election. It was the age of end of single party rule at the center and states. Before 1957, Indian National Congress was ruling at both center and the states. But over the period of time, in many states such as Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, the ruling in the state was by the local parties, was by the local government, local parties or the regional parties. Okay, as a result, there was always a friction between central party, that is INC, and the local parties. Okay, as a result, the role of governor was politicized. Then later period, there was interference in autonomy. Autonomy of who? That is, governors delayed approvals of amendments and interfered in university decisions, undermining the institutional independence. Okay, the aim of central or state universities was that to provide them with a certain autonomy so that they can create innovation, so that they can propagate ideas. But here what happened was governor started acting as a agent of center and started acting as a chancellor, which the Britishers hoped to act as. Okay, so the history repeated here. So governor became interferer in the university works rather than becoming a facilitator of innovation. Okay, then what about constitutional and legal issues? This governor as a chancellor of the universities is in conflict with certain state governments. That is, there have been efforts by the state governments to reduce the governor's discretionary powers, have led to amendments in states like Tamil Nadu, West Bengal and Kerala. So some of the states have become revolting in this region or in this aspect. For example, recently in 2023, Kerala passed a bill to replace governor with eminent educationist as a vice chancellor, as a chancellor. Okay, it should not be the governor, instead it should be a eminent educationist who should be the chancellor of universities. Similarly, the Karnataka government also passed a law are also passed a bill, not a law. These both are bills which are at the president for the approval now, or at the governor. Karnataka also passed a bill where they wanted to replace governor as a chancellor with the chief minister of the government as a chancellor. Okay, and many states such as Tamil Nadu and West Bengal have also tried to bring similar measures, that is replacing governor with educationist or with chief minister or with someone else. Okay, aim is to reduce the role of governor in appointment of vice chancellors and like working of universities. This is also in line with Supreme Court's interpretations and several committee recommendations. That is, while the Sarkaria and Punchi commissions have recommended limiting the governor's role to statutory functions, implementation remains inconsistent. Okay, so implementation is not consistent throughout the states. So if that is the issue, how do the different states or different countries deal with this issue? For example, global practices at the international models. Universities in the United Kingdom and Australia separate ceremonial and administrative roles, emphasizing institutional leadership by professionals. Okay, so they have made governor or any state authority as only a ceremonial role, whereas the administrative roles are dealt by the professional. This can be followed in Indian university model as well. Though governor is a prominent personality, he is not suited for administrative roles of institutions because he is burdened with many roles as a governor of the state already. So instead of providing extra burden of him as acting as administrative like administrator of a university, that administrative role should be provided to someone else who is a professional in this aspect, and governor should be made only as a ceremonial head. Okay, keep these examples: United Kingdom and Australia. And state initiatives, even in India, Gujarat, Karnataka and Maharashtra have reduced governor's role, appointing chief ministers or state appointed officials instead as the governors of the state universities. Only the state universities. Okay, make no mistake, the states cannot change the role of governor as a chancellor of central universities even with the laws. Okay, so in conclusion or in recommendations, the author tries to provide certain recommendations for reforms, that is decentralizing and providing accountability. That is, reform should empower elected state governments, uphold university autonomy and reduce political interference. And professional leadership, that is adopting global best practices similar to UK and Australia, like independent education councils can improve governance and safeguard academic freedom. Okay, so these can be followed in Indian universities as well. To conclude the video, it underscores the need to limit governors' role to just a ceremonial functions while implementing reforms to enhance the credibility and autonomy of the state universities. Okay, if you want to promote universities, if you want to make universities at the level of USA, China, etc., you need to provide those universities with a certain degree of autonomy. In order to provide that certain degree of autonomy, you have to reduce the interference and the discretionary power of governor. Okay, so this ends our discussion. A very important topic, most probably can be asked in your mains as well as interview. So be thorough with these UGC guidelines and the role of governor as a university chancellor. So with this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.